Hey all! We on? We're on. We're on! We're live for live stream number 43. Hope everyone is having a dandy weekend. I know I am. All has been good. Let's see who we got here. We got Lyle. Look at him, number 1. There's Jeffrey. Steven is present. Or as my dad would say, present and accounted for. Barry is here, as always. Thank you so much. Greetings all from South Florida. Barry's down in Fort Lauderdale area, right, Barry? Which is about 3 hours south of me. What's up, FB24ers? Bonnie, keep me on my toes. 1 minute early. Mike, and I mean flying Mike, your camera will be on its way back to you before too awful long. I've used it 3 different times, and I have the video completely done. I shot a YouTube video a couple days ago and working on editing. We'll get into that in a few minutes. My whole 16mm outlook. Let's see, please send some warm weather up to New England and some sun. It's pretty nice out today. I don't know what let me see, what's our weather today? I'm going to show you, or at least tell you. Right now we are, it's partly cloudy, but we do have sun. Look at that. Can you guys see that? 83, partly cloudy, and see down below all the sun coming. Yeah, so it's not, I don't like it real hot. I like a little cool weather. We had unexpected cool weather this year. Unexpected longevity of cool weather this year. How is Sweden this time of year, Bonnie? Bonnie has some things to talk about today, she says. She got some new purchases. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Thank you, Barry. Everybody do what Piper tells you to do. How does she do it? Like that? 2 minutes late. Yeah, Jeffrey. Lyle says, anyone have any 35mm Vision 3 stocks for sale? Willing to trade some 16mm 250D. I don't have any, I don't think, Lyle. I take that back. I have some really old stuff, but it's not Vision 3. Somebody might have some. I don't know. Hopefully somebody chimes in. I'm sure Mike does. Oh, Mike's got a little bit of everything. Oh, yeah. Just now hit the like button. Thank you, Mike. Gordon's here. Ready for action. Flying great. We had about 24 degrees Celsius a few days ago. That's not too shabby, Bonnie. And might get snow in a few days. Yo, Filmboy24, good to see you. It's good to see you as well, 42nd. Abel is here. Hello, all. Katie is here. Good to see you. Looky there. It's Ken, right there in Wisconsin. Florida, Lickerdale. Fort Lickerdale. No worries, says Mike. Yes, I will get it boxed up. It probably will be shipping out this week, Mike. I got to make sure I have your address. I've got it somewhere here. Maybe email me your address again. By the way, is 2 rolls of Vision 3 250D in Super 8 for $8 good? Oh, Bonnie. First of all, I've never in my life seen Vision 3 250D in Super 8 format. So it's probably too good to be true because it never existed. Started shooting the doc on Ektachrome this past week. Camera sounded a little sputtery, so hoping the footage turns out. Come on. That's going to be exciting. I'm really, really curious how that's going to turn out. Where we at? Jeffrey says, saw 3 8mm cameras in the antique shop, wanted to buy them, but they were priced from $12 to $50. Only wanted them for the lens. Yeah, they had the D-mounts, right, Jeffrey? They had some D-mount lenses on them. Sometimes that's the only reason to get one of those old 8mm cameras. Although most of them work pretty well, but sometimes the lenses are actually more valuable to us film shooters than the cameras themselves, especially when you have plenty of cameras already. By the way, 24 degrees Celsius is 75 degrees. Yes, I know that, and you know, that is like primo weather. Ken says, when you upgraded your RetroScan Universal to 2K, did you notice a difference? I did, Ken. Yes, I did. But I noticed the biggest difference when I upgraded from my Universal Mark 1 to my Universal Mark 2 4K, which really isn't 4K, but that camera is a lot nicer. Yeah, but yes, I did notice a big difference in the 2K from the 1080p camera, and I still have the old camera on mine, on my or for my Mark 1 unit. Mike says, I have some 35mm Vision in cartridges, but probably not a bunch. What kind of cartridges? Like magazines, Mike, you're talking about? And I think Lyle's probably looking for Vision 3. And it is expensive. I wish I had a cutter. You could cut it down and perfect for Super 8 or 16mm. Well, Super 8. Because Super 8's so limited Kodak-wise in the stock selection. And I got a Kinamo for free last week. A Kinamo? I got a, wait. Is that ICA? Ica? Kinamo? Bonnie, you have got me on that one. Okay, thank you, Mike. Email, absolutely. Hey, Eric, hi from Sweden. First time, made it to live stream. Yes, Eric. Hey, Bonnie is also from Sweden, Eric. You guys know one another? Oh, thank you for popping in, Eric. One new in the box Kodak Brownie with the leather case and all the fixings. Never been used. Is it like the one I just did the review on, Jeffrey? That little Kodak Brownie. I love that little camera. I can't remember where I put it. And it's like new in the box. It really is. And they're great little cameras. What do they want for that one? But mine, I don't think has a. I don't think you can take the lens off of it. I can't remember. Greetings, Eric. Oh, I'm scrolling too fast. The rolls of Vision 3 and Super 8 are all about $8 right now and ends in 4 days. Well, that's an amazing deal, Bonnie. For Vision 3 stock for $8. That's insane. Futzing with a projector. Get the futzing. You gotta say that really pronounced. Futzing. Zing. Hey, Manny, thank you for popping in, my friend. So I was distracted. It's okay. You're allowed to be distracted. Still film carts. Oh, Lyle, that's what you're looking for? Oh, he has it in cart. I gotcha. I gotcha. The little, yeah. Okay. 35mm little cartridges. Is that what you're looking to do, Lyle? Are you trying to get some Vision 3 stock to re-spool in the carts? Into the little 35mm carts? That's what most people do. And I've done that, but I don't have Vision 3 stock. I have some very, very expired Fuji, I think, and also Vision stock, or EXR, I can't remember, but it's really old. I did videos on each and every roll of it. I saw one of those tiny Bosley 8mm cameras yesterday. Great condition, but the price was too high. What did they want for it, Steven? The regular 35mm. Okay, yeah, Mike, thank you. I was lost for a minute. There's Bonnie speaking her native tongue. I'm not even going to begin to imagine what that actually says, but I feel like it's something like greetings, thanks for coming, or nice to meet you. I dodged a tornado on 420. Woo! Yeah, I heard there were some tornadoes out there. Glad you guys are okay. You and Mike, I know you guys are in the same general area. Oh, they wanted $50. That's way too much, Jeffrey. You're right about that. I paid 20 for mine, and that was right on the cusp of the right price and too high. But like I said earlier, mine's in like new condition, so I felt like it was worth it. 50 is pushing it though. That's a little too high. Can we talk about that awesome coffee cup that that looks like a lens? My sister got that for me. I actually have had a couple over the years. It even has all of the markings of the Canon EOS lens. You see that? But it's just simply a, let's see if I can do this without spilling it. They're all over the place. It's just a travel mug. Keeps my coffee nice and toasty. Got a new shirt for my birthday. Ooh, Gojira. Gojira. One of my favorite monster movies. And he's holding what appears to be a Leica, probably. Or one of those knockoffs, the Russian knockoffs. Woo! Some knucklehead played a film with musty rollers and the audio part with tar. I hate when you get the Shinon was notorious for this. Shinon cameras. You guys will know this if you collect cameras like I do. Shinon Super 8 and the eyepiece. If it's been in the case for years and years and years in somebody's garage, it just sort of melts, and then you have, like what Radios was saying, just black tar all over the eyepiece. I've got quite a few Shinon cameras, and my favorite one, my 200/8XL S, was just like that. It took me about 3 hours to clean all of that black tar off of the eyepiece. Wada-be-da. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the tornadoes were bad out there, weren't they? Glad you dodged it. Yeah, they were vicious. The Leica Kanamo is the world's smallest 35mm film camera and takes between 50 and 75 feet of 35mm film in special magazines. So, Bonnie, is it a still camera? That can't be a still camera, is it? That's a lot of film, because the standard 35mm 36 exposure roll is about 5 feet, right? Yeah. That's insane. Otherwise, my wheels have been rebuilt by Urbanski. He's the best. Good old Larry. I just bought some more Super 8 liter off of Larry. Yes, NFW. So what? What's NFW? Or NWF? Did I miss it? Oh, New World Film. You're talking to Steven. It was close to $200, so about the going price on eBay. I got so many conversations going at once, so Steven was just talking about Tornado. Now he's talking about $200 on eBay, so I got to go back up and figure it out. Oh, the tiny Bosley cameras. Okay, yeah, gotcha. Yeah, that seems a little high. Hey, Ben, you almost missed it. You're only, well, and I'm a little behind. You're barely late. You're usually early compared to me. I can barely hear the audio now on films after cleaning it up. On sound films? Oh, you could barely hear it. Okay, I got you. So you couldn't hear it at all before. 8mm and Super 8 cameras should be $12 to $20. I won't pay more. I agree with you. I don't think, especially for run-of-the-mill cameras, now you Bollywoos and Canons and big cameras, I know they're going to demand a bit more cash. But I for real, somebody posted on the Super 8 group on Facebook a camera that they got. It was a Bolex, and to me it kind of looks like it's probably a rebranded Shinon, and they paid $30 for it. And some people were saying you paid, too much. Some people were saying that's a steal. For me personally, I think for that camera, and I have owned millions of cameras, I think that was right on. I wouldn't have paid much more than that for it. It was a Bolex Super 8, but it was the black plastic Shinon looking or Sears looking camera, so I think that was about all they needed to pay for that. We'll definitely share the doc once it's completed. Again, fingers crossed, the sputtering is nothing problematic and just delightful sound of film moving. Oh, I hope so. Remind me again what camera it is that you're using for that doc. Nice threads. Oh, the shirt. Thanks. Oh boy. Bonnie. Okay, sorry. It's an Elmo 16AL. Oh, the projector. Yeah, I have some Fuji Eterna, but I'm looking for some Vision 3 stock. My next film project is doing stills as a film with sound production, just staying creative. That's awesome, Lyle. I can't wait to hear more about that. We had, and Lyle, by the way, sent me a text today via Instagram. I don't know where my phone is. This is for sale. Lyle, you're not buying it, right? If you're planning on getting it, I'm not going to show everyone. It's local to Los Angeles, and I'm nowhere near Los Angeles, or else I would get it. To be honest with you, and I had no idea that it was on here. But let me make sure Lyle's not planning on trying to get it, because I don't really want to cut him out like that. We had an H16 reflex go for $600 earlier today. Depends on what model it was, Bonnie. Film cameras are starting to come down in price a little bit. I paid $300-ish for mine several years ago, but for my H16 Rex 1. Happy birthday. Oh, thank you, Jeffrey. It was a couple weeks ago. Thank you. I appreciate it. Mushy, not musty. Okay, I figured that's what you meant. But Larry Urbanski rebuilt my roller. He knows what he's doing. He's a projector specialist. So it plays film fine, but hardly any audio. I wonder if the heads are just crazy dirty. I know you said you cleaned the film, but I don't know. I would keep trying. Happy birthday, fellow Taurus. May 2nd. We're not that far apart. April 28th. Thank you, Mike. Bonnie says it's a Cine camera, and I also got a Morse tank for $17. Is that the Morse G3, Bonnie? And I would like to look into that camera. In fact, I need to write that down, because that is very, very interesting. Ica Kanamo. That's weird. I've never heard of that. I heard of the one. I think Barry was kind of showing me this little movie camera from the 1900s, early 1900s. That was really cool. That I'd like to have, but I can't remember what that one was called. Oh, I'm so far behind. Film has to be in perfect condition or it will snag. Some projectors are so finicky. Since you talked about that, that's it. Okay, Bent just threw it out there. The Debris Sept camera. I'm on the hunt for one. Those aren't cheap. No, they are not. Yes, I was just talking about it, and Bent got in there, and he, yeah, that's what it was. The Debris Sept. I think Barry told me about that camera initially, and sent me pictures of it or something, but it's really cool. It's like the rich man's Lomo Kino. Like your Kodak cheese gear cameras. There would have been sound working, of course, but some doof clogged up the exciter. Oh, the exciter lamp. Got to get it cleaned out somehow. You're not buying, okay. $400. You know, I mean, and it's a, I don't know if you guys, let me turn up the screen. It's really down. Look at it. So some guy in Los Angeles is selling this camera. I also saw it, I looked it up, and I saw it on, it's not a camera, it's a blimp for my Aries 16S. But I also saw he posted on Cinematography Forum, cinematography.com, that he's only, there's no shipping. He says too heavy. So he's only selling it local. There's one on eBay, but they want a fortune for it, like over $1,000. But he's asking $400 for that thing, but pickup only in Los Angeles. So I would get it if I were in Los Angeles, but I am not in Los Angeles, so that doesn't help me. It's really a studio blimp. It's made for, they're heavy. I know they're very heavy. but and it's made to house everything, including the 400-foot magazine, so it's big. So it would take some doing to get it. I kind of don't blame him. I know they're big and bulky. The word tungsten comes from Swedish and translates to heavy stone. What was that big stone? The Blarney stone that they used to. You know what the Blarney stone is? That's interesting. Fun fact, Bonnie. I got to replace all the leaders in my films. I've had to do that quite a bit, radios. I just bought 1,000 more feet of Super 8 leader. It's between a Canon 310 XL, the one that's sputtering, because of the macro focus option, and a Zenit course. Oh, okay, that's the cameras you're using. Okay. I would be surprised if your footage doesn't come out in that 310 XL. They do make some funny noises. I have a 310 XL, but mine doesn't really work that great. There's some issues with it, the viewfinder and whatnot, so I kind of shelved it. But that's going to be interesting. The Zenit cores, you're not. I mean, I'd really be surprised if you had any trouble with that. Those things are like tanks. They're awesome cameras. I have 2 of those. Mike says, now I'm curious about what's for sale. Oh, the thing I showed you. Yeah. I wish I could get it, but I can't. Taurus here too. 22nd, Earth Day. Happy Earth Day and happy birthday. Taurus gang. Yeah. Lyle, are you a Taurus as well? Are you next week, your birthday? Thank God it's not a bridge rectifier or something that needs to be soldered. Ah, you got this. Mark is here. I got to send you the film from my Sept to scan. Okay, yeah, anytime, Mark. I still have never scanned 35mm film on my scanner, so you know, we'll see. Hit and miss. Mark, are you the one that emailed me the tip on the somebody emailed me a little tip. I can't remember who it was. Maybe, I think it was Russell on the reels for 35mm film reel. But I did get some. They're only 100 feet, but it's so cool. I don't even want to use them. I don't want to take them out of take what's in them out. For old, like LA Times newspapers on microfilm or New York Times or something like that. I can't even remember. But it's really neat. But I got them really cheap. Somebody sent me that auction, and I got a set of 10 of them on eBay. They go for about $300 to $400 on eBay, and it can easily be converted or modded. Not too shabs. Mark says there are Konamo 16 and 35mm models, very tiny. The 16 takes about 25 feet of film, and then wonder what the filming speeds are. Do you guys know what the filming speeds are for those? Are they adjustable? You need to get an Aeroflex before you get the blimp, right, Mike? And how have we not talked about, I know, the one on eBay. There's a 65mm camera on eBay. It's cheap. They only want $400,000 for it. So, I mean, somebody should snag it up. Konamos were IKA, then Zeiss Icon after. Oh, okay. Okay, so I didn't know they merged. That's cool to know. What Steven got here. Story about the Blarney Stone. I went to Ireland in 2017 and didn't get to see the Blarney Stone, much less kiss it. Thanks, Professor Quinn. That's right, you're supposed to kiss it. I do have a souvenir piece of it though. Not sure how real it is. Oh, were they selling little souvenir pieces? I live about 20 minutes from Blarney Castle. Well, that is really cool. I have empty 35mm daylight reel I can send, and my Sept film can send. Oh, my Sept film on. Okay, cool. Thank you. Do you know how big it is? See, my scanner only accepts, my new scanner only accepts up to 400-foot reels, because it'll hit the lamp housing, unless I put the extension kit on the sides, which I have, but I just didn't really feel like doing it. Because it's so rare to scan anything bigger than 400-foot reels. So I've never put the extension kit on. It's a little process, I could put them on there, just leave them on. I just never have. I have an empty 35 millimeter. Oh, I just read that. That's awesome. I enjoyed visiting Ireland, but I really got sick while I was there. I must go back someday. I would love to go. My in-laws are going to Iceland soon. Unrelated, I've got a digital compact cassette deck fixed again. You are good at that stuff, aren't you? My Konamo takes a spring motor, but also have a separate handle if you wind on your own. Oh, okay, so you could do it kind of like the Lomokino. However fast you're spinning it, that's how many frames you get. How do you like that? Radios. How should 8mm 1635 9.5 developed film reels be stored? Temperature and orientation. I store mine standing up, but I don't know if that's proper or not. To be honest, I store all my films that I shoot and process in plastic reels, usually snapped. And my 16mm, I just store on 100-foot rolls. Plastic, always plastic. This is drawer number 1. I have a bunch of these of films that I have processed over the years. But I have a little thing over here on the side that you guys can't see that I keep all of my films in. Unrelated, yeah, okay. Keep it in temperature control though. I keep my house at 72 degrees Fahrenheit, and I think that's relatively safe. Especially here, I live in Florida where it's really, really humid. I'm in the process of fixing my mini disc deck. Those are cool, mini disc. I haven't heard that in a while. The reel is about the size of a 16mm 100-foot reel. See, that would be perfect because there's a couple of film 35mm trailers that I want to try and scan. I feel like, I wonder if it is 100-foot though already that I got. I think they are 100-foot. I don't know. I have to look. Yeah, I think they are 100-footers, plastic reels. But the movie trailers are a little bit bigger than 100 feet. I'm pretty sure. I feel like they are. Hold on. Yeah, I have these trailers. My buddy Travis, that you guys know on here, Tobin's Photo and Video, gave me these. He loves getting 35mm movie trailers scanned in post, but he gave me some crappy films. They're just for me to practice with. The titles are ridiculous, like Tuck Everlasting, and I don't even know what this one is, and the ridiculously terrible Wild Wild West, that Will Smith movie. But this is clearly bigger, I think, than 100 feet. There's a 100-foot spool. I don't know, but with the core, maybe not. I don't know, because that core is bigger than this. So I don't know. We'll see. This one looks like it may fit. This is 16mm, of course. On a 100-foot reel, I don't know. But like I say, I've never really messed with scanning 35mm yet. I do want to. I have the guides for it and everything. So, so many projects. I have some 35mm trailers that could be used for practice scanning on your Mark II. Yeah, I see. I guess I should read ahead a little bit first, huh? Iceland is a great place to film and take pictures. Yeah, I know. I wish I was going. I'm also trying to get my Wallensic reel-to-reel working better. I went to Indiana not long ago in March, and I filmed like three. I think I told you guys already. I still haven't developed all of that. I still have 2 or 3 rolls of that to develop. I shot this yesterday. Boom. In this. That's my 514 XL. Vision 2 200T. And my wife works at a vet clinic. And she's taking care of a baby raccoon. Little. So I was filming the baby raccoon in the backyard. But I haven't processed that yet. I'm also trying to get my... I read that. When the motor is on, you also have... The motor is on also... you have to use it, or you can use it... What? When the motor is on... Wait. And my motor also keeps breaking. Well, that's not good. When the motor is on, you also have to use it, or you can't use it at all. So, okay, so you can't have the motor attached to the camera and then use the hand crank as well. I got you. That makes sense. $13 watching, or 23 people watching, only 12 thumbs ups? What is going on in this world, Jeffrey? I destroyed a Lomo Kino recently after building a little battery-powered motor for it. They're so cheaply made, they're not hard to destroy. First it snapped the spring, then it broke the gear. Oh, it's not made for 10 frames per second or higher. Those things are so silly. They're fun. They're just kind of like a moped, you know. It's like you don't really want to be seen with it in the States. Well, I guess they're kind of cool now, but they're fun, you know. Side note, from my Super 8 dock, I recently picked up a Beaulieu 4008 ZM2 on eBay for a really good price. That said, the lens is quite fogged and the battery needs reselled. Oh man, I've heard some really good things about those 4008s. I don't like the handle on them, but apparently they do fantastic. And I think that's what isn't that what Pro 8mm they redesigned them, kind of. They completely refurbed them and they made them their own brand or something. That's a really cool camera. But you can buy batteries for those on eBay. I know there's people that resell them. I don't know how hard they are. I know my 5008 right there. It runs, but the battery is no good in it. So you have to resell that. I'd have to resell that one. And it's possible, but they're a pain because there's two different voltage batteries inside there. One runs the meter, one runs the motor, and it's all kind of in one. So, I mean, I've built battery packs, you guys know, for my Aeroflex, but that's a little trickier, and they don't just unscrew. You got to kind of break them open. I don't know how it is with the 4008. I'd like to have one, though. I'm with you, Lyle. I would like to have a 4008. Abel says, been away for a while. What's happening with the Film Fest? Radio says, it was... Did you see how I dodged the question? You know, Abel, it's funny you mentioned that. I was thinking about it just today because I was going through some of the folders on my computer and I saw Film Fest. And I just kind of got so busy, it got pushed to the side. I still want to do it really badly. I just haven't had time yet. It was a book I had to read in 6th grade. God, I can't remember 6th grade. Barry says, I've got a 35mm trailer from my son's movie theater days. Don't know what's on it. Wait, it's I've got a 35mm trailer from my son's movie theater days. Oh, you don't know what movie it is? Well, you need to send it to me and we can find out. Well, if I can ever get this thing to scan 35mm film. I don't know, I've never tried. But if I can, Barry, I'll scan it for you and we'll find out what's on it. It's kind of like Twilight. And yes, I'll send it back to you. It's kind of like Twilight. It's kind of like Twilight. Read, not read. Read, not read. I knew what you meant. Hey, Ted's here. Committed. Thank you, Ted, for popping in. Bonnie says, send it to Bjorn Anderson at Beaulieu Service. He specializes in Beaulieu camera repairs. He's supposed to be the best, honestly, Bonnie, I believe. Where's he at? Is he in Germany? Mike, you've got my entry, but it's 16mm. Yes, it is. And I do have your entry. I keep forgetting to put that. I'll show it if I could remember to put it on. See, I use my laptop, and you got to transfer things and settle down. And I haven't done that yet, Barry, but I will. I keep forgetting. Bonnie, do you have an address? I recently wondered why there are so much more options for 8mm than Super 8, especially when it comes to black and white film. Yeah, I don't know. I will say this. First of all, I talked about it a couple weeks ago. I wish my 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 Bolex H8 worked properly, because I think I would probably get more into 8mm than I am now. Especially since you can get a 100-foot roll of 8mm film. If you film it at 16 frames per second, which I probably would not, but I mean, if you did, you got 20 minutes of film there in one roll. 100 feet, flip it over, 100 feet, process it, you're good to go. I don't know. I have an idea that I want to do and put together a little YouTube video kind of comparing 8 and Super 8 and the pros and cons of each. I don't know why there's more options there. I don't know if it's easier. They just make the film and spool it, and they don't have to deal with the cartridges and whatnot. I don't know. Maybe they have an abundance of 16mm already. I know they cut Super 8 down from, they don't make Super 8 film. They don't actually just manufacture Super 8 film for Super 8 cartridges. They manufacture it in 35mm and they cut it and then they put it in Super 8 cartridges. So I don't know. Good question. Speaking of Film Fest, my new town I just recently moved to has a pretty cool international film festival every year in October. Ooh, film festivals are fun. I've been to hundreds of them. Well, maybe not hundreds, but quite a few. I like that the Film Fest on your website sends you to the store. That website is such a mess right now. I visit it about once a month, and one of these days I'll actually put it together. None of it really makes sense. I'm not a web designer. I know so little about building websites. It's just a WordPress site, and I've had people email me through there, but it's just one of those things where when I get around to it, I've been processing and scanning so much film that it's just been hard to do anything. You're welcome. I shot a feature on that camera. Awesome. Is that something we can see, Ted? I've debated doing that or having Pro 8mm completely refurbish the thing. Either way, it's going to be expensive. Yeah, that's for sure. There's no doubt. Didn't know that Pro 8 serviced cameras. Yeah, they do. Bolio and I think Canon 1014 XLSs. Yes, I have an H8. Yeah, I have one, Ted, but mine's kind of a mess. It runs fine, cranks, runs. The little mechanism that pulls the film down with the pull down claw and everything is all messed up. Yeah, I have a website, Mike. I don't really talk too much about it. It's Filmboy24.com, but there's nothing on it. It's not ready. There's nothing. There's a lot of things I had planned, and I got a lot of crazy ideas, but I talked to a guy yesterday about publishing a zine. I want to do a limited edition, sort of fun, little, inexpensive, my first zine, and use stills. Some of my favorite still images over the last 5 or 6 years of Cinefilm. And he has all the printing capabilities to do that. So we had a good conversation yesterday. Filmboy24 Film Fest or the Filmboy24 convention, or both. I would love a convention, but those are tricky. I'd love old school analog conventions. They're not around much anymore. But I've been to a few hotel lobbies and banquet rooms where they have conventions set up. Hey Dave, you mentioned you filmed this weekend. Was it backyard or no? It was a raccoon. I filmed a raccoon in the backyard, Dave. My wife is caring for a baby, like 6-week-old raccoon. She works at a vet clinic, and it's at our house right now just for the weekend. And he's got a broken leg, so he's in the backyard, and I was just filming him yesterday. And I did film. I used Mike's camera. This one. I have the video complete. I'm editing the video. This is coming out this coming week. I had all intention of going. My wife and I were going to go film on the beach and some scenes over there. The weather was never cooperating. We just never found time. So we did some stuff. It's mainly family stuff with some 50D, Vision 250D. Speaking of which, I want to talk for a second about my 16mm game. I got to do some soul searching regarding this whole 16mm thing I'm doing, because it's kind of, you know, as much fun as I have processing 16mm film, it's just not really ever been. I'm never going to be, you know, I'm not a lab. I'm not a, you know, I'm not Pro 8. I don't have the machines. I do it all by hand. And my 16mm has never really come out well. It's come out okay. It's come out, you know, home processed. And for the few years I've been doing 16mm, it's never really progressed. And I honestly can't figure out why or what's making my 16mm film come out the way it is. There were some that I've shot 16mm in so many different cameras, so many different film stocks. I've cut from 400-foot rolls. I've gotten it brand spanking new. I've gotten it 100 years old. I mean, I've gotten so many different stocks, so many different brands, so many different cameras. And no matter what I do, my film comes out the same. It's flashing. It's funky. I'm going to show you guys a clip in a second of some film. I don't think I've ever shown. It's just my dog. It's, again, right here, testing my CP16, which has a light cover on the magazine, and then I taped the door, so I don't think the light was leaking in. But actually, it's about the best I've ever gotten out of my 16mm game. But I can't pin down what exactly is going wrong with my 16mm. And this is what I use. Let me catch up here real quick. Sponsor opportunity, Filmboy24 Squarespace. Yeah, I don't use Squarespace. I mean, I would if they wanted me to. I also like that you have black text on top of a dark gray background. Yeah, I'm always like the darkness of things, Bonnie. Yeah, Squarespace. Well, I know they sponsor a lot of creative channels, but I don't know. They are a little tad bit pricey, but for what you get, I think it's worth it. But I have looked at them. I've looked at them for years. A friend of mine does a zine for fiction, poetry, journalism, art, film, cool stuff. I've always wanted to do a zine. Always. I don't know. I have so much going on all of the time. For those of you out there that are married or have partners and have children and a regular life and a job and everything else, you guys know what I mean. You know what it takes when you know, I have 2 kids in school and a wife and a house to take care of. You know, I have a lot of stuff going on, and I have my channel. So you know, I'm not complaining. I love my life. I have a lot going on. So all the things in my head that I want to accomplish and haven't yet. Oh, thank you, Ted, for the raccoon. He's a great little guy or girl. We don't really know what it's a boy or girl. Oh, I just heard my wife say boy. Yeah, he's funny. He likes to try to climb up you. Friend of mine, yes. Gave up my website years ago. Had better response on YouTube and Instagram. Yeah, well, I mean, 90% of what I do, Jeffrey, is from YouTube. I have gotten people that sent me. I've had quite a few people send me stuff via my website. They send me emails through my website, Mike at Filmboy24.com. And for about 6 months, I wasn't even checking that because I've never advertised the site. So it was stacked up with people wanting stuff. So I check it regularly now. Did you experience the shutter lock issue anymore with the UMIG? No, Mike. It's funny you mention that. Not at all. I have no idea what happened. But for the entire time that was happening, I could not get it to stop. But now, I mean, I filmed just a few days ago, less than a week ago, we were out there filming, and it never, ever acted up again. Jerrison, how are you, my friend? Thank you for popping in. How long does it take to process 16mm film? So it really depends. That's a good question. It depends on the film. I do a lot of vision stock, so there's remjet and it's a process, but a couple of hours probably for 100 foot. I would say conservatively 2 hours, and that's from walking into the dark room to load to actually hanging the last strip of it on my hooks to dry. Let me see. Maybe you're not holding your mouth right. Steven, what is that for? But I just know you're being a smart aleck, and I love it. Is that for me or for... Oh boy. Filmboy24 just got a custom for... You know, I did some measurements the other day. It would be about a 20-inch reel for 400 feet of film. This is just under 12 inches right here. That's just little foam sections that I keep in there to keep the separation correct. But this holds 100 feet of film, the spirals, and this is almost 12 inches across. It'd be about 20 inches to fit 400 feet, 20 to 22 inches, I can't remember. So it doesn't seem like it'd be that difficult to CNC machine one or something. I don't think 3D printing is quite there yet for this. What do you develop 16 in? Right here, Ted, this is what I process it in. I have 2 of these. One of them I destroyed. I don't want to say destroyed, but these are 100-foot tanks. They're not made by Lomo. They're made by someone, I don't know who. It was what they call the former USSR. People just say Russia, but they were made there. Let me show you the difference. This is the tank I use every day here. This is the UPB-1A. This holds the 50 foot of film. My little spacer in there. You can see the difference in size. Maybe you can. I can show you the reels that would show you the difference in size. So let me just show you the bottom. 100 feet, 50 feet. They also make a 33 feet tank, very similar to this one. That it was for 8mm film when you'd get it in the 25-foot reels. I don't have one of those. I think Travis has one, but I do not. This is the tank I use almost every day right here. Guys and girls, don't let the lack of a film fest for the channel stop you from making your short film. Make one, then make another one. Yes! I love that. I love that, Lyle. The magazine. Wait, Jerison, the magazine. You mean 16mm magazine? 16 and 35. You could do 35 in these, Barry. 35 won't fit in that. And it's weird. I'm surprised it doesn't, but it won't. I have 4 kids totally. You know what I mean, Mike. I think it's Shopify would be better if you want to sell things. You know, Bonnie, I don't know how much stuff I'll actually sell. I don't know if I just kind of wanted to do a website just to get out there a little bit. And I did it initially for the film festival. I had a website for many, many years when I owned Glide Shot Industries, which is a jib making company, and it was just a WordPress site, and all that site really was for sales, and it worked fine. I just had a processor, a credit card processor that I attached to it. It's been a while, but it was easy enough. I like WordPress because there's so many different themes, and it's free and it's easy-ish, but I don't know, there's some issues with it. I don't think it's you, it's the limitations of the Lomo tank that you can't get even developed. It's very hard to get right. You know, Ben, Perfect control of time and temperature. You're right. You're definitely right. There's a couple things I'm going to try. There's so many steps when it comes to processing your own movie film. First of all, with Super 8, you got to pull film from the cartridge. That's definitely one way you can scratch up your film, pulling it from the cart. Now I have kind of developed this little way where I can hold down two different things at once and usually get it out, but there's so many different things when you process at home that can introduce issues. Namely, what I'm thinking may not help is the fact that where I live, I just use tap water. My water is super hard. I mean, after about a week, things are turning white from that calcium and stuff in the water. And I've never just used distilled water for the whole process. I use distilled water for the last step, which is the wash, photo flow wash. So that when I squeegee the film with either my fingers or my Patterson squeegee, it doesn't really, washes it, but it doesn't really leave water spots. I use distilled water and photo flow. And that typically keeps all of my water spots down to a huge minimum. Now, one thing I've never done is used distilled water for the entire process, because I think that could get a little expensive over time, especially when you're filling 2 liters every single time you fill your tank, and that's minimum. This minimum for Super 8 is about 1 liter, liter and a half if you're doing 50 feet of 16 millimeter. When you use the big tank, it's a minimum of 2 liters. So there's roughly 4 liters in a gallon, a little less. So it takes a gallon of distilled water to fill the tank twice. Now I know a gallon of distilled water is only about $1.50, so for about $10 I could probably try the whole process. I'm going to do it. I'm going to redo all my chemicals when they expire. I just mixed up a brand new batch of ECN2. So when I do my next batch, I'm going to use distilled water for everything and then compare and see if that has anything to do with it. I don't know if it will. Remjet is an absolute nightmare. Just found an Arri 35mm camera that sold for $500 with 2 magazines a few weeks ago. That's a really good deal. I'm guessing that's the Arri 2C, Bonnie. I'd love to have one. Steven says, yes, Mike, that was for you about the 60mm films not coming up. Oh, not holding your mouth, right? Yeah. I'll buy that second big tank if you consider letting it go. You know, Mike, here's the problem. Let me tell you. The funny thing is, I like the second big tank better than the current one that I use. But the second big tank is the one that a lot of these old Lomo style tanks, you have to kind of sand or file down that center a little bit because they were a little too big. Well, that was the case with that Lomo, the big 100-foot one, the second one. Well, I sanded it too much, and I wasn't even thinking. And now it's kind of sanded at an angle. The film just doesn't load in there properly anymore. So what I need to do is take it to my brother's house, my younger brother. He's got this big old fancy 4-foot CNC machine that he makes all kinds of cool things. And I need to put that spiral on a CNC machine, and we need to just level the top. And then I need to make a spacer for the top of it so it fits on perfectly level on top. But I won't forget that, Mike. I'm not saying no. I got to see if I can get it right first. Sulfur smell? No sulfur smell. We don't have well water. Please mix your develop. I know, Mark. You're right, and I have done that before. I have mixed just my developer in distilled water. Here's the problem. I have to, when I'm doing vision stock, I have to do a lot of remjet removal first. And it's nearly impossible to get all of the water out of the tank and or off of the film when you're done. So my process is I have to put my solution in the tank the very first step. Let it sit for 60 seconds or so, 30 seconds to 60 seconds. Drain it. Then you add plain water and you agitate it like crazy. Drain that and it should come out looking like black ink. I then add usually 2 more big batches of fresh water, good good agitation, good rinse, till it's clear, drain as much as I can possibly get. I think this might be where the problem is. Now I have water that sits on my film all around that 100 feet. You're not going to get all the water off of it no matter what you do. So sorry, my nose is itchy. I don't know. So I feel like when I now add the developer, even if it's in distilled water, I still have that hard water sitting all over the film from the remjet removal. So what I need to do, like I was saying earlier, every step needs to be done in distilled water. Tape my sink spigot closed and don't use it at all. Everything from rimjet all the way to the final rinse needs to be done in distilled water, and see maybe if that makes a difference. You know, 10, 15 bucks in distilled water as an experiment and see what happens. The reverse osmosis, I don't know, does that take everything out of it though, Mark? Does that make it distilled? I don't know. Or completely remove all of the additives? Is there a clip where you... Yeah, I know. There is a clip. I just get going. I'm game to try and fix stuff. Oh, you are? Okay. It's a chore, but you could distill. I looked at that yesterday. I've been looking at it. You know, boiling water and letting it drip. They actually have machines that you can buy. But I think it's cheaper in the long run to buy it based on how much it costs for electricity to run, you know, the stove or the machines. But I have looked at those, Mike. Does anyone know if any place that sells 100-foot rolls of double-8 in color? I only know FPP might do that, Bonnie. I can find. Well, Mike would know. Only 100-foot, black and white. Bonnie, try Whitner film. That's right. I don't know if they have it in color though, do they? Color. Oh, they only sell it in 25. They used to do color in 100-foot, I thought. Oh, is that what science labs use? Okay. My sister actually has a reverse osmosis, you know, the water cooler thing. All right, let me show you this clip. I developed this roll of film in 2019, I think. It's just my dog in the backyard, but this is the... By the way, first I want to show you, I shot this. This is off the same film reel. I was using my CP16, which is a crystal control camera, and I shot this film in the backyard, like I do most film. This is what happened when this is what happens when your film, you lose your loops and the film just flutters in your gate. And I'm hoping this didn't happen to you, Mark, for your doc. Mark, you're doing the doc, right? I get the screen names mixed up. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, popcorn. This is 9 seconds long. This is just a clip of the flutter that I had to deal with until I figured out it was happening. So here's the flutter. Brrr. Yeah, that's my kid's swing set in the backyard. That is what happens when you lose your loops and your film is pulling faster than it's feeding. Okay, so after I figured that out, which is about half of the 100-foot roll, this is 7276 plus X, by the way. This is about as good as I've ever gotten out of 16 millimeter film. And this was done in a 100-foot tank. Black and white I usually have a little bit better results with. I don't know if because of the cooler temperatures, and maybe like Mark was saying, it might be easier or tougher with the temperatures and whatnot. It does go into seizures. Thanks, Lyle. Okay, so here it is after I figured it out. Right there. But if you look, you don't have to look close, but you can see the film sort of keeps flashing, and there's a lot of, what do you call it, you know, just sort of flashing all over the place. And like I say, this is one of the better attempts that I've had. Very avant-garde. Thank you, Jerison. Yes, I got to tell you, I actually like this. I'm not overly bothered if I could at least achieve this kind of result every time. But like I say, if you look, obviously look close enough. And by the way, when you see the close-up of the flowers here in a second, or the bush, you'll see the edge go black because it was very, very overexposed, and I had to really bring the levels up. Right there. So you see the edge kind of went black, the perfs went away. This was all shot with my CP16A, which is the non-reflex camera, with the Ingenue 12-120 standard lens, and that's it. So that's, like I say, that's the best I can hope for. I can't remember ever doing a 16mm film self-processing and self-scanning, and that was scanned on my new scanner, by the way, the 4K scanner, just about an hour and a half ago. It's pretty clear to me that this is uneven development. Yes, Ben, you're exactly right. It is uneven, and I wish I knew why. I had somebody tell me once that maybe I need to go to 3 liters of chemicals so that when I'm agitating, the water isn't possibly splashing itself off of the film. But 2 liters does cover it pretty well, with about a half inch to about an inch over the top of the film. So it does cover pretty well, but you're absolutely right. It's uneven to all can be. I mean, and by the way, that's a good one. So I didn't put any of the other ones. It is, I know, and I've tried so many different things. I actually tried, in the darkroom, 5 different buckets, they were almost the same size as the bottom of these tanks, right? And it was black and white film, and I loaded the film in there on the 100-foot spool, and then I just went from each thing, and it was full. I put plenty of chemical in, so there was no pouring chemicals into it. I put the film into the chemicals. Agitated nice and slowly to at least get fresh chemicals all around it each 30-second period, right into the rinse water, right into another rinse water, then into the fixer, then into the last rinse, same issue. So I don't know if it's more to do with the quality of the water that I'm using. I really don't know. Yeah, Mike, I mean, like I say, I'm pretty happy with those results. I just, I don't know. I always strive to be a little bit better. It's actually pretty darn good for a tank like that. Thank you. Any thoughts on homemade 3D printed movie? Yeah, I do have thoughts on that, Lucas, and thank you for chiming in. There are some, on Thingiverse, they have some plans for those, and there are people that have tried and tried. I think it's a fantastic idea. I really do. 3D printing tanks. I just don't think, I've never seen one that actually worked properly yet. What is that? By the way, can you try to pronounce Nordsvast? No, I can't. Have you ever looked into how those professional machines were developing film? I have, and there's a fella, Victor, in Ukraine. I know you guys have, I've talked about him before. Oh, he builds these, he's built a couple of these developers that are so beautiful. And I have looked into it, and I would love to build one. I've seen one also where a guy did down into a long, like 3-foot length of big PVC pipe, and then back out and into a rinse, and then into the final one, just using this like a simple magnetic slip clutch and a steady motor, and he got okay results. That's not exactly what I'm looking to do. I mean, if I could build a tank like Victor did in the Ukraine, I've emailed him a couple times, but I've never gotten a response, because I would consider purchasing one. It's the longest word in Swedish. I'll never be able to pronounce that, Bonnie. But I mean, my life is pretty complete with my great family, but my life would really be complete if I could figure out a way to develop my own film with a machine. Sounds like you're ready to embrace the scratches and start bucket development. Yes, I am. They have separate tanks with, yeah, you can control the temperature of each tank. Each image is developed exactly the same length, and it's all perfectly monitored. How would you ever do this in a little tank? You can't. I've even set my tank, these little UPB-1A tanks, in my bath that I have my chemicals in to try to keep that temperature constant. And I use a sous vide to try and keep my chemical water the right temperature. And I don't know. I have a friend in Colorado who has 2 professional 16mm processing machines that's willing to sell them to me, but yeah, and they're huge, Mike. I mean, you need a separate room, and you need water and power, you know. I like these ones that he built in the UK. They're like 4 feet tall by 4. They're countertop ones. My main worry about 3D printed tanks is the plastic reacting to the chemicals, and that the glue would need to be. Yeah, I don't know how. I don't know the ins and outs of what chemicals react to what different plastics and things like that. But yes, you would definitely need to figure that out. Who's that? Victor? Mike, you talking about Victor used to run a photo company, or the guy in your area? That's who you're talking about. Yeah, they're so big. Bonnie, I can't even begin to try to pronounce that. I tell you what, you need to pronounce it in your native language and record it and send me the recording, and I'll play it for everybody next week. I wish I could build a tank. I don't know. It's funny. About a year ago, I talked to Roger, the former owner of Movie Stuff. They're now defunct. About that very thing, because he built scanners for 25 years, and the theory behind them is pretty much the same. The biggest issue for me would be the take-up side needs to spin. It's going to have to pick up a little bit or slow down as the reel gets bigger, but the speed needs to stay constant. And I asked him about it. He said, yeah, I built several processing tanks in my life. But that's as far as we got. I mean, it would be really cool to build one. When I get rich, I'm getting you a lab developing machine, but you got to let me use it too whenever I want. That is a deal. We got a deal, Stephen. Anytime you want. You send me the film, I'll process it. Oh, look it up on Google Translate. Yeah, I'll do that. Guys, listen. I had a few things I wanted to talk about, but we got a minute. It's only been an hour and 11 minutes. I didn't tell you guys before, but I have 22 rolls of this, too. I've had this for a couple years. And I plan on trying to load these. You can see they're empty. I've been really into the 110 and 16mm format lately. You guys know I brought this gem out the other day, my purpley blue 110 camera. Love this camera, but I just processed a bunch of film for a lady, and she didn't want these back, but I was able to break them open. They're really not that hard if you get the old ones, and I want to reload them. These things, 110. Look at that. See that? There's the top, there's the bottom. But I want to reload them, and I have so much of this. This is what always been kind of my favorite film, 16mm black and white film. This is Plus X 7231. Now this one's fully exposed. I've already used this. But every one of these rolls of film, these are 200-foot rolls of film, and they all come on these 200-foot daylight spools. Another reason why I wish I had a developing machine, because then I could develop this 200 feet at once, or 400 feet. But I have 21 more of these. I used this one already in 100-foot lengths, that I want to actually put some on here. I was going to try. Bonnie. I was going to try to load one of these today, but I think we're going to pass and I might do it next week. Let's see if I could do it right here. Oh, you leaving, Lyle? Is Lyle back? Is Lyle out? Thanks, guys, but I got to hit the sheets. Oh, it's 9 o'clock there. Lyle, thanks so much, as usual, for coming. I really appreciate it. Start to buy lottery tickets, yeah. That's the reverse of saving. I do like doing a little scratch-off every now and then. Lyle, would you know if movie stuff assets or IP is for sale? It is not right now, Robert, I don't think. He's filing personal bankruptcy, and I'm only saying this because it's public now. But movie stuff is not. It's strange. I don't know a lot about it. It's a sad story all around because a lot of people are out a lot of money, and I have nothing good to say about the way it went down. I was very lucky. It took 22 months begging and calling and talking to Roger on the phone, but I did get my machine, and very shortly after, he shut it down. So there are a lot of people that are out a lot of money and never got their product. So again, I'm kind of stuck because I love the machines, I like the products, but I hate that there are so many people that have a bad taste in their mouth now about the company. I don't really want to talk too much about it, but I don't know if any of it is for sale. Hopefully something picks up from this. Hopefully somebody takes it over, or he gets through this and decides maybe he should build machines and then sell the machine, not take orders and then build them and sell them. I don't know. That's all. I don't have a lot to say on that other than I have mine and I'm pretty content with them. Quirky, but I'm figuring them out. It is time consuming, Mike. You're right about that. Let's pitch in and get me one. Yeah, let's do it, Mike. Pitch in and let's all get a machine, a community machine. That's not a terrible idea. If I could get a hold of Victor in the Ukraine and everybody wanted to pitch in and buy one, yes, I would take care of it. And you could send me your films. Be part of the deal. You can reload 110. Yeah, I know. I want to try it. I think next week we're going to try that. I have some bad anxiety about storms. Well, I don't blame you. Bye, Lyle. Maybe build them and put them up for auction. You got $5. Steven's on board. Yeah, that's the way to do it. You got to build them and then, you know what I mean? Build them and then sell them. That's the way to do it. Guys, I can't stay on here much longer, so I'm going to bow out. It's an hour and 16 minutes. Got to do the Sunday stuff. Get the kids ready for school the next day, and summer is coming up, so maybe we'll do a couple of 2-hour live streams. But sad Filmboy story, Kickstarter. It seems like everybody does a Kickstarter, right? Or what is it? GoFundMe. That it is. I mean, if I could develop one, I would do a GoFundMe or a Kickstarter for the machine itself, but actually provide them to people. But I don't have the knowledge to be able to put one of those together yet. When I had my business, my glide shot, and I had, you know, TIG welders and machines to be able to do it, I had much more the tooling to do that. I don't have any of that now. Do it, Mike. I would definitely be interested in getting involved. If you had the machines at your place, I would be involved, absolutely. Jerrison, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. I don't want to be here anymore. Thanks again. Everybody, I'm going to bow out, but thank you guys so much for joining. It's always a pleasure every single week. I really appreciate it. We will be here next Sunday, barring any crazy emergencies. And no, she's not here. I will see all of you. Make sure you hit the, well, Piper would go like that. Like that. Smash the like button. Bye, Katie. I really appreciate it. Bye, Mike. Bye, Piper. Eric, thank you, friend. I hear little feet. I got 30 more seconds. Show them what they got to do for the like button. There it is. Smash it. That's right. Cheers, Bent. Thank you, Radios. Bonnie, Jeffrey, Eric, Mike, Katie, Bonnie, Robert, Steven, Barry, Manny, Dave. I know I left somebody out. That's why I don't do it. Abel, Remjet, if you're here. Mike, for sure. You're always here. Jeffrey. Guys, I'll see you guys next Sunday. Peace. Bye, Gordon.